A recent transplant to the Triangle, she's been creating access to the arts for people with disabilities for over 2 decades. From Arts Access Incorporated, Eileen Bagnall.
Thank you. So what's Arts Access and what do we do? Here is our very fancy mission statement dedicated to creating access to the arts in North Carolina for children and adults with disabilities. What does that mean? We impact the lives of people in North Carolina at the intersection of arts, education, and disability. How do we do it in the arts? A couple of different ways. Audio description is pretty much the program that we started with and have been doing for almost 40 years. And what audio description is play-by-play, just like in sports. So if you are someone who have low or no vision and you're in the theater, without audio description, you hear a door open, footsteps, a drawer open, a bang, and a thud. What happened? Mary opened the door, peeked in, saw Fred sitting in a chair sleeping, tiptoes to the desk, opens the top drawer, picks up a revolver, shoots him, he falls out of the chair. That's much more interesting than just hearing a bunch of sounds. So how we do this is we have trained audio describers throughout the state that work with art museums and presenting organizations and performing organizations to make sure that their content is understandable for people with vision loss by audio describing. So in the museums, we either do live description, where you're going to get a tour and someone's going to describe the size of the piece of art you're looking at, the medium, who the artist is, and then physically describe what is in the artwork. Also, North Carolina Museum of Art has been a huge supporter with us, and they actually have QR codes that you can go through the exhibit and pre-recorded description will be read for you. And Raleigh Convention Center just hosted a huge accessibility conference and had our audio describers describe their art in the lobby. So again, hit the QR code, you find out what's there. For performance, we do it live, just like play-by-play. We read the script, we do our research, go to rehearsals, find out, and we're in the booth describing what's going on as someone's enjoying a play. We've done it for workshops and classrooms, all sorts of presentations and lectures. So we also do American Sign Language. We help support and we work with organizations to make sure that if they're looking for an American Sign Language interpreter, that that is the right person. Because did you know, in the US, there's American Sign Language, there's Hispanic Sign Language, and there is also Black Sign Language, amongst others. Because every language is very different. And for those not familiar, ASL or BSL is not word for word for word. It's a series of pictures that they're describing. So it's very visual. And then we just heard about captioning, open and closed captioning. Closed captioning is in a screen. So we'll work with museums again to make sure if they have an exhibit or a film showing that it has captions running and that the captions are correct and how to do it. Open captioning is if this was captioned tonight, you would see what I'm saying in real time scrolling across the top or the bottom of the screen. So those are that. And then how do we do it? We're not experts. We bring in experts to help us, but the most important thing is we partner with the disability community. We have an advisory board. We work with, if we're starting a different service or expanding, we work with people in that disability community because, as the motto of disability rights is, nothing about us without us. And then we work with cultural organizations to get them on board. One of our really fun programs is our Artist Link project, and one of our big supporters of this project is here tonight, so thanks to him for supporting us and pushing out the work. It is a registry of artists with disabilities that are in North Carolina, from just emerging artists that are just starting at their craft to those who are established. You can go to our website, artsaccessinc.org, and go through this registry and see who's on it, find out about their artwork. It could link, if they have a website, it'll link to them. And here's a couple of our artists. Eduardo with a piece of his art, and then one of our emerging artists. And then the other thing we do, again, We are here to create access to the arts for disabled people. So we host a series of fortunate events, or Sophie as my staff likes to call it, and it is in the spring and in the summer, a series of 3 different events that highlight the incredible work of artists in the area who do have disabilities. We start out, usually we do either a performance, or this year we did a screening of Crip Camp with an interview with Judy Heumann before it. We also do a family event. We were in Durham Main County Library this year doing a book giveaway, art making, a movement event. It was a wild Saturday morning, and it was a great fun. And then lastly, and this is something that's still up and running through the end of this month, we do an art show. At Sertoma Gallery in the city of Raleigh, we have 25 works of arts by artists from all around the area, all around the state, as far as in the Asheville area. And the work's available, it's for sale, and of course there's a QR code linking to our SoundCloud that'll give you a description. Now, to continue to make this event accessible, it's also online, because we had so many artists who couldn't attend, or because of health concerns or COVID, because who knows, on any given day, it's a COVID issue, chose not to participate in our reception a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so this is who we are, Arts Access Incorporated. We do have our Facebook, our Twitter, and one of the things that we do in working with arts organizations is we consult with them. Earlier today, I met with Carolina Theater, who's interested in doing a sensory-friendly performance, and sat down and talked them through the steps. What do you need to do? What does it entail? Who are you going to partner with? Hopefully you're reaching out to Autism Society and Duke Hospital and their branch of autism research, so that you're working with the families who do want to come, and they find out about what your organization is. Because what we believe is, as long as you include the disability community in the work you do, that allows you that instant buy-in. They know they're being heard, because everybody wants to be heard, right? And they're excited about our projects. And sometimes they give us some of the best ideas, because we're going this far with the project, and they're, oh wait, but if you do this and this, you move from accessibility to usability to the enjoyment. So that they think through the steps for us that someone who may not have a disability wouldn't. Thank you.
All right, big hand for Eileen Bagnall. Now's your time to get your questions in about accessibility for and in the arts. Raise your hand if you've got a question about that particular subject matter expertise. You're a lively crowd, aren't you? All right, I will lead off with a question. Are there forms of art that are easier or harder to make accessible? And for the ones that are more difficult, what are the things people can do to move the ball down the road on that one?
Well, obviously describing art that doesn't move is a very easy, it's not simple. You still have to be succinct and correct and actually know what you're talking about. So we do work with some of our describers have art history degrees, which is fabulous, because they're going to bring all this knowledge in their head or research it. Live performance is tough. It is tough. Think of captioning or providing ASL interpretation or even description for Hamilton. I've done that. It keeps you on your toes, because the whole the whole idea of audio description is not to step on an actor's line, which in Hamilton, there's very few moments.
Yeah, they do go, don't they? All right. Other questions about accessibility in the arts? Actually, I have a second one. This one would be from my daughter, my youngest daughter. She has some sensory issues where she watches media with closed captioning on because it helps her understand better. And one of the things that she has noticed, and she's brought up to me, is that as people are getting more comfortable with closed captioning, streaming TV shows, things like that, The captions themselves are becoming kind of an additional art form. They're putting information in that is not necessarily the same information that is showing up on the screen. And she's asked me, and now I will ask you, is that a way to extend art by making it more accessible, not to just reflect it?
You know, with captioning, it really is supposed to be verbatim what's happening. And that's one of those things. YouTube is great. You can do auto captions. So if you film something and you want to put it up, but you need to go back and edit it. And not edit it and say, it's a beautiful sunset. No, you need to know what the person is talking about. It's the same thing with audio description. With audio description, our whole mantra is, say what you see. Please do not tell me who the actor is and that's his son playing the piano next to him. I want to know that it's a father and son sitting together playing the piano together. Not who they are in real life, because now you've just taken me out of the movie. But yeah, you're not supposed to add commentary.
Excellent. Good to know. Other questions? Yes, we have one from the center aisle here.
So when working with the museums to add audio descriptions, et cetera, for their displays, are they taking advantage of that to use for like the audio tours that they also offer lots of times? So, being able to reuse that material?
Some are. So some are taking the audio descriptions we do in museums and including that in their audio tours. Also, a lot of times, and I've had the advantage to do this in previous places, they'll do a live tour where an audio describer will partner with the docent. And as they go from art piece to art piece, the audio describer will describe what the piece of art is. Then the docent does their part where they talk about the importance of the artwork, the history of it. So it kind of meshes in and becomes kind of, a little talk show about as you go through the museum.
All right, big hand for Eileen Bagnall.